Have you always thought of the Philippines as nothing more than white sands and turquoise beaches? Most people do, until they see the towering peaks that rise above the clouds, where nature remains wild, untouched, and breathtaking. Here, each mountain is more than just rock and elevation. It's a story, a volcanic crater that once changed the world's climate, a moss-covered forest where indigenous people whisper prayers before harvest, a perfectly shaped cone so symmetrical it looks sculpted by imagination. And most of all, these are places few have seen, but no one ever forgets. In today's journey, you'll discover 15 hidden mountain wonders, natural treasures so surreal that even some locals have never reached them. Are you ready? Let's begin. 1. Mount Apo, the roof of the Philippines. Standing tall at 9,692 feet, Mount Apo is not only the highest peak in the Philippines, it's a monument of raw power and natural wonder. Nestled in the heart of Mindanao, this dormant stratovolcano is revered as a sacred mountain by local tribes, and for good reason. It is home to over 600 species of flora and more than 200 species of fauna, including the endangered Philippine eagle, the world's tallest bird of prey, and the tiny tarsier, one of the smallest primates on Earth. Climbers brave an 18-mile trail that winds through sulfur vents, moss-covered forests, and ancient lava rock. Every step upward feels like crossing into another world. As the mist clears near the summit, you're greeted with a view that's both humbling and exhilarating, a sweeping panorama of valleys, lakes, and distant peaks. But Mount Apo is more than just a destination. It's a journey of the soul, a place where silence speaks louder than words, and every breath at the top reminds you how small we are beneath the sky. This is not just the roof of the Philippines, it is the crown of a wild, breathing world. Two, Mount Pulag, the Sea of Clouds. Rising to 9,578 feet, Mount Pulag is the third highest mountain in the Philippines, and arguably the most magical. Known as the playground of the gods, this Luzon gem is famous for its otherworldly sea of clouds where hikers at dawn find themselves floating above the heavens. What makes Pulag truly special is its biodiversity. The mountain is home to over 500 plant species, many of which are endemic, and rare animals like the Philippine deer and cloud rats. The summit is part of a protected national park, a fragile but flourishing ecosystem. Climbers follow scenic trails through pine forests, mossy jungles, and rolling grasslands. The final stretch before sunrise is a moment of quiet awe, when darkness gives way to golden light, and the clouds below shimmer like an ocean. Locals hold deep spiritual respect for the mountain. According to folklore, souls of the departed rest here, giving the peak a sense of peace that's hard to describe but easy to feel. Mount Pulag isn't just a hike, it's a pilgrimage, one that leads you not just to the top of a mountain, but to a deeper connection with nature, silence, and wonder. Three, Mount Kitanglad, where Earth meets heritage. At 9,511 feet, Mount Kitanglad towers above the plains of Bukidnon, like a silent guardian of both nature and tradition. Recognized as a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, this mountain is not just a natural wonder, it's a living museum of culture and ecology. Kitanglad's forests are thick with fog and mystery. Within its 85,000-acre expanse, you'll find over 600 species of flora, dozens of birds unique to the Philippines, and endangered mammals like the Philippine warty pig and civet cat. But what truly makes this mountain sacred is its connection to the Talaandig, Higaonon, and Bukidnon tribes, indigenous peoples who consider it their ancestral home. As you ascend through layers of pine and mossy forest, you're not just following a trail, you're walking through stories passed down by generations. Kitanglad is where locals perform ancient rituals, celebrate harvest festivals, and preserve centuries-old beliefs. At the summit, the view is breathtaking, but so is the realization. This isn't just a peak, it's a bridge between earth and spirit, science and story. Mount Kitanglad is a place where nature and culture breathe as one, inviting every visitor to not only see, but to listen. Four, Mount Dulang Dulang, the sacred forest of mist. Mount Dulang Dulang, the second highest peak in the Philippines at 9,649 feet, is not just a mountain. It's a sacred realm cloaked in silence and moss. Located in Bukidnon, it forms part of the Kitanglad mountain range and is deeply revered by the Talayandig and Higayonon indigenous tribes. Nicknamed D2 by climbers, this mystical peak is veiled in dense, mossy forests, often blanketed in mist that moves like breath over the land. The biodiversity here is astounding. Ancient trees rise like guardians, orchids bloom in secret corners, and birds with emerald wings sing from the shadows. It feels untouched, almost unreal, like stepping into a forgotten world. But Mount Dulang Dulang is more than beauty. It is spiritual ground. Before ascending, climbers are often blessed in local tribal rituals, asking permission from the mountain spirits. The climb itself is a meditation, quiet, slow, and humbling. At the summit, the reward is not just the panoramic view of mountains stitched together in green. It's the feeling of having passed through a sacred threshold. Here, in this moss-laden cathedral of the clouds, nature doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you listen closely, it just might change you. Five, Mount Kalatungan, the mountain of the ancients. Rising to 8,298 feet, Mount Kalatungan is often overshadowed by its taller neighbors. But for those who seek raw beauty and cultural depth, it's a mountain like no other. Located in the heart of Bukidnon, this remote peak is one of the most biodiverse and spiritually revered places in the Philippines. The name Kalatungan means mountain where wisdom dwells, and it shows. Its forests are home to rare orchids, ancient tree species, and elusive wildlife like the Mindanao pygmy fruit bat. The mountain spans over 18,600 acres, offering dense rainforests, cascading waterfalls, and trails barely touched by time. But what truly sets Kalatungan apart is its spiritual significance. The Manobo and Talaandig tribes believe the mountain holds ancestral spirits. Before any expedition, tribal elders perform rituals seeking safe passage, a tradition passed down for generations. Hiking here is not just physical, it's ceremonial. You'll hear the crunch of leaves underfoot, the rustle of creatures above, and perhaps the faint echo of chants in the wind. Mount Kalatungan isn't for the casual tourist. It's for the respectful traveler, the one who understands that some mountains don't just rise from the earth, they rise from the soul of a people. 6. Mount Mayon, the perfect cone of fire and beauty. With a near-perfect symmetrical cone rising 8,077 feet, Mount Mayon is one of the most iconic volcanoes on Earth. Located in Albay Province, it's not just a geological wonder, it's a national symbol, appearing in legends, postcards, and the hearts of millions. But beauty here comes with power. Mayon has erupted over 50 times since the 1600s, shaping the surrounding landscape and lives with lava and ash. Despite its volatility, it continues to attract scientists, adventurers, and photographers, all mesmerized by its elegant form. Climbers begin their ascent through lush coconut groves and farmlands before entering rocky trails and lava flows. Along the way, they're treated to panoramic views of rolling valleys, rice terraces, and the sparkling Pacific Ocean. Locals tell stories of a tragic love between a warrior and a princess, explaining why Mayan stands tall and alone, as if grieving forever. The legend gives the mountain soul, while the eruptions give it fire. Standing at the base of Mount Mayan, you don't just see a volcano. You witness nature's ability to be both beautiful and unforgiving, serene and savage. It's not just the most beautiful volcano in the Philippines. It may be the most unforgettable. Seven. Mount Canlaon, the living giant of Negros. Towering at 8,086 feet, Mount Canlaon is the highest peak in the central Philippines and one of the country's most active volcanoes. Located on Negros Island, this massive mountain dominates the skyline and pulses with life, both geologically and ecologically. Canlaon is part of a 50,000-acre natural park, home to rich forests, bubbling hot springs, and rare species like the Visayan spotted deer and writhed hornbill. Its crater, often shrouded in mist, is both mysterious and majestic, a reminder that beneath the quiet beauty lies a churning heart of fire. The mountain has erupted many times, the most recent in 2016, yet it continues to draw climbers, scientists, and seekers. The trails ascend through mossy forests, waterfalls, and sulfur vents, making each step a blend of thrill and awe. But Canlaon is not just a place of danger, it's a place of balance. Locals farm its fertile slopes, offer prayers at its base, and celebrate festivals in its honor. For them, it's a provider, protector, and sometimes a warning. To climb Mount Canlaon is to walk on living earth, to feel the quiet tension between peace and power. It doesn't just rise, it breathes. 8. Mount Guiting, the saw-toothed beast of Sibuyan. At 6,752 feet, Mount Guiting may not be the tallest mountain in the Philippines, but it is, without question, one of the most formidable. Located on Sibuyan Island, often called the Galapagos of Asia, this peak is infamous for its jagged, saw-toothed ridgeline and steep, unforgiving trails. The name Guiting literally means jagged or saw-like, and from a distance, its serrated silhouette looks like a dragon's spine ripping through the sky. For mountaineers, this isn't just a climb, it's a test of will. The knife-edge trail is legendary, where one misstep could mean a sheer drop into the abyss. But danger is paired with reward. The mountain is a biodiversity hotspot, hosting plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth. Moss carpets the rocks, rare pitcher plants bloom in silence, and the air is so clean it feels otherworldly. Few dare to reach the summit, but those who do speak of a landscape that defies imagination. Up here, every step is a conversation with nature's raw, untamed side. Mount Guiting doesn't ask for admiration, it demands respect. It's a mountain that chooses its climbers, not the other way around. Nine. Mount Amuyao, the mountain above the clouds. Rising to 7,775 feet, Mount Amuyao stands proudly in the Cordillera region, straddling the provinces of Ifugao and Mountain Province. Though not as popular as other peaks, it is cherished by those who seek tranquility, biodiversity, and a deep sense of connection with the earth. The journey begins through villages dotted with ifugao huts, rice terraces that ripple down the mountainside, and trails rich with history. At higher altitudes, hikers pass through moss-covered forests, bamboo groves, and flowering trees, each layer of the mountain offering a different ecosystem. What makes Mount Amuyao so unforgettable is the view from its summit. At dawn, a sea of clouds blankets the valleys, with only the tips of distant peaks piercing the mist like islands in a celestial ocean. The air is thin, clean, and filled with a profound stillness. In local lore, Amuyao is believed to be the resting place of ancient spirits, and climbers often leave quiet offerings out of respect. Scientists have also taken notice. Many species of endemic plants and animals thrive here, some yet to be fully studied. Mount Amuyao is not about conquering height. It's about discovering silence, stillness, and the sacred rhythm of nature. Mount Mantalingajan, the last frontier's crown. Standing at 6,844 feet, Mount Mantalingajan is the highest peak on Palawan Island, often referred to as the last ecological frontier of the Philippines. Remote, rugged, and rich in biodiversity, this mountain offers one of the most challenging yet rewarding climbs in the archipelago. What makes Mantalingajan so unique is not just its height, but its isolation. Reaching the base requires hours of travel through dense jungle and river crossings, and the trek to the summit is a true endurance test. The trail winds through limestone cliffs, slippery roots, and ancient trees, some believed to be thousands of years old. Along the way, hikers encounter the knife edge, a narrow ridge that tests both balance and courage. But those who make it to the top are rewarded with breathtaking views of Palawan's untouched wilderness and the sea shimmering in the distance. This mountain is also home to endemic species found nowhere else on Earth, and its forests are sacred to the indigenous Palawan people who live in harmony with the land. To climb Mount Mantalingajan is to step into another world, wild, spiritual, and profoundly alive. It's a place that doesn't just test your strength, it restores your soul. Mount Banahao, the Mountain of Miracles. At 7,874 feet, Mount Banahao is more than just a mountain. It's a sacred sanctuary. Located between Laguna and Quezon provinces, this dormant volcano is considered holy ground by many Filipinos, drawing not only hikers, but also pilgrims, healers, and mystics. For centuries, Mount Banahao has been called the Holy Mountain, a place believed to hold spiritual energy and healing powers. Natural springs are said to cleanse the soul. Caves are used as meditation chambers. Local devotees visit sacred spots to pray, fast, and reconnect with the divine. But Banahao is also a biological treasure. Dense forests cover its slopes, home to hundreds of plant species and endemic animals. The sounds of birds and rushing streams echo through thick canopies, creating a soundtrack that soothes even the most restless spirit. Climbing Banahao is both a physical and spiritual journey. While the trails can be steep, many visitors describe the experience as transformational, a kind of inner cleansing brought on by nature, silence, and intention. Whether you're a believer or simply a seeker, Mount Banahao invites you to pause, reflect, and reconnect with the earth, with yourself, and perhaps with something greater. Mount Ulap, the trail through the clouds. Mount Ulap, which translates to cloud in Filipino, lives up to its name. Standing at 6,188 feet, it's one of the most accessible and beloved day hikes in the Cordillera region, offering sweeping views, cool mountain air, and a trail that dances along the clouds. Located in Itagon, Benguet, Mount Ulap is perfect for both novice hikers and seasoned trekkers seeking beauty without extreme altitude. The journey begins with rolling pine forests, then transitions into grassy ridgelines where the skies seem to stretch endlessly. On a clear day, hikers are treated to panoramic views of the Baguio highlands, with seas of mist rolling beneath their feet. But Ulap is more than just pretty views. It is part of a heritage trail, dotted with ancient rock formations and resting points that carry cultural significance for the Ibaloy people. Local guides share stories of the land, the spirits believed to dwell in the mountains, and the importance of protecting these sacred grounds. What makes Mount Ulap unforgettable is its balance of beauty and serenity. Not too far, not too hard, yet endlessly inspiring. It's the kind of place where time slows down and your soul quietly says, "Stay a little longer." (13) Mount Maculot, the cliffside sentinel of Taal Lake. Rising to 2,795 feet, Mount Maculot may be modest in height, but it delivers one of the most dramatic views in all of Luzon. Located in Cuenca, Batangas, this mountain is a favorite weekend getaway for locals, offering a quick yet rewarding escape into nature. The most popular destination on the trail is the Rockies, a cliffside ledge that juts out over the shimmering Taal Lake and its iconic volcano island. From here, the scenery is nothing short of spectacular. Wide skies, calm waters, and the smoky silhouette of Taal volcano resting quietly in the distance. The trail up Mount Maculot is well marked and manageable, making it ideal for beginner hikers or those seeking a short but scenic adventure. Along the way, you'll pass by bamboo groves, rest huts, and friendly locals who sell snacks and refreshments. But this mountain also holds spiritual meaning for the community. Many pilgrims climb it during Holy Week as a form of devotion, adding another layer of depth to the experience. Mount Maculot isn't just about the view, it's about perspective. In just a few hours, it shows you how far you can go, how small you really are, and how beautiful this world can be. 14th Osmeña Peak, the crown of Cebu. Perched at 4,053 feet, Osmeña Peak is the highest point on Cebu Island, and arguably its most iconic. Unlike towering volcanic cones, this peak is part of a jagged ridge that resembles a serrated crown, a series of limestone spikes that pierce the sky and form one of the most photogenic landscapes in the Philippines. Located in Dalaguete, often called the Little Baguio of Cebu, the hike to the summit is short, easy, and accessible, even for beginners. But don't let the simplicity fool you. The view at the top is nothing short of spectacular. A panoramic sweep of the Tañon Strait, the rolling green hills of southern Cebu, and on a clear day, even the neighboring islands of Bohol and Negros. Historically, Osmeña Peak served as a strategic signal post during World War II, adding a layer of quiet reverence to its beauty. Today, it draws nature lovers, photographers, and spiritual wanderers alike. Whether you're there for the sunrise, the sea of clouds, or simply to feel the wind rush over limestone spires, Osmeña Peak is a reminder that sometimes the most unforgettable views come from the most unexpected climbs. 15. Mount Pinatubo, from catastrophe to Crater Lake beauty. Once feared, now admired, Mount Pinatubo is a symbol of both nature's fury and its astonishing ability to heal. Standing at 4,757 feet, this volcano on the border of Zambales, Tarlac, and Pampanga provinces unleashed the largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century in 1991, altering not only the landscape of the Philippines, but the global climate itself. The eruption displaced hundreds of thousands and darkened the skies with 20 million tons of ash and sulfur dioxide, cooling global temperatures for a year. But from the ashes rose something unexpected: a breathtaking turquoise crater lake, now nestled peacefully within the mountain's caldera. Today, Mount Pinatubo is one of the most surreal hiking destinations in the country. The journey begins with a 4x4 ride across ash deserts and lahar fields, followed by a short trek that leads you to the serene, glassy lake, reflecting the very sky that once turned gray above it. Pinatubo is more than a tourist spot. It's a place of memory, rebirth, and resilience, a reminder that even the most violent forces of nature can leave behind a profound kind of beauty. It is proof that from destruction, something extraordinary can bloom. These 15 mountains are more than places. They're living stories carved into the earth, each whispering a different lesson about strength, silence, and wonder. Whether you seek adventure, healing, or a deeper connection with nature, the Philippines holds a peak that's waiting for you. Which one will you climb first? If this journey inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow explorers. And in the comments, tell us, which mountain called to your soul the most? Your next adventure may be just one trail away.